All right, what's going on, my friends? Fifth quarter, another brutal night at Moda Center as the Portland Trailblazers take the loss tonight, 123-105. And, without Josh Hart and Nurk in the lineup, their two best rebounders, we saw what happened, right? Toronto took advantage. They dominated the glass. They dominated the offensive glass, had a huge advantage in second chance points, and they did a great job scoring 22 points off of 12 Trailblazer turnovers. And the Blazers just fall flat once again. The worst part was the slow start, getting blasted in the first quarter. You look at the scoreboard, all of a sudden it's 29-7. And then we've seen this now. It's a developing trend with this team where they get down big early, and then they've got to expend a ton of energy to get back into the game. And they did that in the third quarter where they erupted for 39 points. And before you know it, early in the fourth, they're down 4. And then all of a sudden the Raptors respond on a 14-0 run and put the game away. So a lot of frustration. The Blazers now fall to 23-26. They got one more home game against the Hawks on Monday in this extended homestand before they take off for 3 on the road. And the Raptors now 23-28. Your final score tonight, Raptors over the Trailblazers, 123-105. It's the fifth quarter. Chad doing here. Your telephone number, if you want to jump on board, is 503-248-0620. 503-248-0620. You'll find me on Twitter at Chad and Rip City. Also, you can join us on our YouTube live stream, which is up right now. Just go to youtube.com, put in the Rip City Radio in the search bar, pull up the home screen. You'll see the live link right there, and you can take part in the YouTube chat and be able to see what's going on behind the scenes inside of the studio. Now, I'm very happy to have special guests in studio tonight for fifth quarter. One guy you know extremely well because he calls in all the time. He is from Utah. It is Ron in Salt Lake. What's up, Ron?
Chad, I'll tell you what, brother. You're making my dreams come true, man.
What is your dream?
I'm telling you, I'm in a studio on the radio live with you.
Well, I figured since you're in town, you're going to call the show anyways from your phone and take over the show. I might as well have you in studio and let you host with me, man. Dude, it's so good to see you in person.
Well, listen, you've been a great friend. You've kind of been a link for me being in Salt Lake City.
Yes.
Linking me to Portland and the Trailblazers. And as I talked about last time I was on the radio talking about the Shawns, I went down to the DMV. I bought and owned the rights to Blazers license plate and also Rip City license plate. So to be in Oregon,
which
to
is
be
probably
home,
the second license plate in the country that says Rip City. That'd be my guess.
Exactly. And my boy Parker, because I love him so much, and he's a diehard Rip City fan as well.
Yeah.
Although he's gotten upset with me a few times and said, Dad, how did you allow me to become a fan of this team? Like, what the heck?
It's torture.
It's torture sometimes. Like, it's brutal. But so I let him have the Rip City license plate.
Yes.
And I have the Blazers license plate.
Yep.
But they're both in my name. So it's just a thrill to be here. And unfortunately, it's a bummer of a game. But, hey,
no,
we're through and through Rip City. So what a thrill.
Ron is here. And then also, I love it, but his brother Tom in the house. Is it your birthday today?
No, my birthday was last weekend.
All right, but you were celebrating at Moda Center tonight in one of the suites.
Correct. I've been wanting to get a suite for a long time for my birthday, and it fell on this weekend.
You
Rough
picked
game.
tonight. Oh,
Rough
no.
game. It was terrible.
But you guys had a good time.
We had a great time. The food was good. It was awesome.
All right, so everyone knows the story. This is how this went down last night. I get a text message from Ron in Salt Lake. He goes, dude, Tom got a suite. We're going to be at the game. You should come by and join us. I'm like, dude, thanks for the last-second notification. And I run into Tom out at Fred Meyer today as I was coming out to the station. Just a random encounter, and we started talking, and he told me about the suite, and I told him that you had hit me up the night before, and I said, why don't you guys just come by the studio after the game? You guys can come jump on fifth quarter, and that's how we're all here.
Heaven. It's karma. It all worked out together, and, the three of us played golf a few years ago.
Forest Hills.
We had a great time, and so this is just, Chad, this is just awesome. You're so good to people. All of your callers, whenever you meet people in public or whatever, you're so cordial and so inviting. And so this is just a thrill. So thanks again.
You got it. Telephone number 503-248-0620. Chris Burkhart is here. He is with us right now. Burkhart, man, I tell you what, how many times do we have to see this routine tonight, right? Slow start, big deficit, energy expended in the third, they fall apart in the fourth. It's a recurring theme.
Like Yogi Berra said, deja vu all over again.
Deja vu all over again. But if they would have had Hart and Nurk, they would have been okay.
Oh, that's what everyone tells me. That's what Travis and Mike says. That's what Coach Billups said. That's why they were out rebounded. I'm convinced that's why they lost.
Oh, my goodness. All right, we got the full house. So I'll get your guys' take. Ron, Tom, you guys were at the game. What jumped out at you? What troubled you about the game tonight, even though they didn't have Nurk and Hart?
Well, what was obviously apparent to me, I mean, at one point I took a picture, and the second chance points was 18-1.
Yep.
I mean, that's just dreadful. So you look at the second chance points, but you have to go a step before that. And what I noticed is we were getting broken down on the perimeter defensively wise. Ant couldn't keep anybody in front of him. The guards were struggling. We were so overmatched size-wise that they were just dominating, breaking us down. And what happens there is you've got guys rotating over to help, and then they would shoot, miss a shot, and they've got easy rebounds and dunks. I don't know how many rebounds and dunks they had and layups, but
now, in terms of offensive rebounding tonight, major advantage for the Raptors in offensive rebounds. They grabbed 15. The Blazers had 3 second chance points. At one time, it was 18-1. It finished out at 22-5.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to win ball games like that. And I've noticed as I've watched Portland play Toronto over the years, everybody talks about OG and Siakam, and Portland would love to have a wing like that to go along with Grant. But at the end of the day, we've struggled with Toronto over the years because their length on the wings and their versatility all across the board. And so the Blazers just struggle big time with teams like that, and they cleaned our house. I thought we would have, they played a game last night, played big minutes back-to-back. So it's just a bummer. But that's at the end of the day, that's why we lost the game, second chance points.
All right, Tom, what'd you see tonight? What jumped out at you with this Trailblazer squad?
That not only were the rebounds a killer, but every time they got a rebound, it seemed to be at the wrong moment for us, and they put the ball back in the hoop. It's one thing to rebound, but you gotta score on second chance points. The other thing that killed us was out of the timeouts. We just could not come back out and keep that momentum going. We'd make a big run, we'd get up close to 4 or 5 points, and then they just hit a big shot. They hit big shot after big shot.
Yeah, you mentioned that length, Ron. I mean, look at some of the guys that are throwing out there tonight. Scotty Barnes, 18 points. He's got great lengths. Pascal Siakam, of course, is a killer, 24 points. And then Achua tonight had a career-high 27 points to go along with 13 rebounds. They don't really start. They don't have a center, so they go with their length, their wing players. And they've got power forward, power forward, power forward. They got multiple guys they can throw out there, either in the starting lineup or off the bench with that type of length. And tonight, the Blazers, with no Nurk and no Hart, their 2 best rebounders, your next biggest guy is an undersized center in Eubanks, and you just can't compete with that type of length. It's brutal.
Well, the other thing is, I mean, how many guys do they have that are like 6'9" with wingspans of like 7'2"?
Multiple.
You love players like that. And Portland, just besides Grant, and maybe Nasir, we're just missing those types of wings. But the other thing we can't discount is Hart is arguably probably the best rebounding guard in the league. And so not having Hart tonight hurt us on the boards as well because, he's a dog. He goes and gets those boards. And oftentimes he's getting those boards when our defense breaks down and, the guy helps on the side and then Hart's there to get it. But we were missing him. Obviously, we were missing Nurk and Hart. So that plays huge into the rebounding situation.
All right, 503-248-0620, fifth quarter. Chad Doing, along with Ron and Tom and Chris Burkhart. The entire family's in the house tonight. Blazers fall 123-105. Let's go out to the phones. Let's grab the Preacher who wants to jump on board. Hey, Preacher, what's up? Welcome to the fifth quarter.
Yo, man, am I literally in direct wavelengths with Ron?
Yes, you are.
Preacher, listen. I love listening to you, man. And I'll tell you what. One thing I was going to recommend to Chad, I think this summer, because I'm going to be coming this summer, how sweet would it be to have like a Rip City potluck in the park or something? And all these people that call in all the time, we all become like, I would love to meet you, Preacher, and some of these other people. But Preacher, it's like I'm listening to you in the studio, man.
Please, don't make me blush. This is ridiculous. I mean, let's be honest, man. You're a legend on the fifth quarter. I mean, your takes, every Utah game, every Oregon Ducks versus Utah, whatever they are over there on the supposedly Pac-12, you kill it, man. And I listen to you. I even told the producer here to listen or watch the movie Salt Lake City Punk. Have you seen that?
Have you seen that?
Have you seen that one?
No.
Okay. Well, you know, everything that you do, man, is like all eardrums, man. I'm just going to say shout out to you. I'm so glad. Oh, I can't even believe it. I'm not even going to ruin the show. This is amazing. Bye.
You got it. Appreciate that, Preacher.
Preacher,
There you
I'm
go.
smiling ear to ear, man. You warmed my heart, man.
Dude, it's awesome. I love it. You know what I love about you two guys, too? I knew this would work this way because I was like, hey, you guys should come in studio. Some guys are afraid of the microphone, but I know with you two guys, I've been around you enough to know, like, this would be no problem. Smooth.
No, I mean, listen, I grew up listening to the Shawns. And here's a crazy story, Chad, just real quick. When I was going to school, I went to BYU. And when I was going to school, they had auditions for the public address announcer for the men's and women's volleyball team and the women's basketball team. And I saw it in the paper, and I said, I'm just going to show up. So I showed up, and I was the last one to go, and I read this script or whatever, and the guy walked over and he says, you're hired. He goes, we want you. So I was the public address announcer for BYU women's volleyball, BYU men's volleyball, and women's basketball for like 3 years.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I love being behind a microphone, and so listen, you're literally making my dreams come true right now, Chad.
There we go. We're making dreams happen here. I love it. All right, 503-248-0620. We'll come back on fifth quarter. We'll hear from Coach Billups. I want to get his take on what went down tonight. You're welcome to jump on board, 503-248-0620. 123-105 is the final tonight. Raptors get the win. Don't forget, Blazers finish up the homestand Monday, a 7 o'clock tip against the Hawks. I'll have game day starting at 4:30 here in your home of the Blazers, 620 Rip City Radio.
It's time for the Portland Trailblazers Drive of the Night, here on the fifth quarter, hosted by Chad Dewing, 620 Rip City Radio. Drive of the Night is brought to you by Dick's Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Wilsonville, ready to compete with the lowest prices in town.
Rebound is grabbed by Watford, who falls to the floor. Simons comes away with it. He's pushed from behind, no whistle. Now Sharp to Payton, cross court to Grant, drives the baseline, slams it down. 10-point game.
All right, fifth quarter, Chad Dewing here, 123-105 the final. As the Raptors get the victory, you can jump on board now, 503-248-0620. If you choose not to call after this game tonight, I understand that as well, 503-248-0620. You can find me on Twitter, at Chad and Rip City. The YouTube stream is up and going right now. You can jump on YouTube, youtube.com, pull up Rip City Radio, and the live link is right there. Very happy to welcome in studio tonight my two guys, Ron in Salt Lake and Tom, chilling, talking little Blazers here. The entire family's in the house. I love it, man. Guys, thanks for being here. We need more fifth quarter regulars in the house. We should just do this in studio every night.
It's awesome, and we had 17 people. Props to my brother Tom here. We had 17 people in the suite tonight. Our family's been season ticket holders since 1974.
Awesome.
When we moved here to Portland, here in Tigard, and we've had the season tickets in the family ever since then. So we had a big family celebration tonight at the Moda Center, and too bad the Blazers didn't want to join the party.
I know. Okay, now the basketball, you brought a basketball in just maybe for some good luck or whatever. Tell me about the basketball you brought in. What is it?
So it's the championship team autographed. All the members of the championship team autographed the ball. My dad was at the game.
The game 6, the final game?
Yeah.
The winner?
Yep. He was there, and so we've had this ball in our house forever. And my dad was a huge, huge Blazers fan. So Rip City's been a big, big part of our family. And we brought the championship ball in. It's got Bill Walton, Liney Hollins, Bobby Gross, the whole gang.
Let's see here.
9 to 107. 3 will inbound. Here we go. The inbound to McGinnis. Drive, stop, pump, shoot, short, no good. And the game is over! The game is over! Well, we couldn't have a post-game show if we tried. Look at that madhouse out there. Lucas and Walden trying to fight through the traffic and go into the locker room. The Portland Trailblazers, at about 2 minutes and 18 seconds past the hour of 2 o'clock, have won the World Championship. They are number one. 109 to 107 is the final score, and it's all over.
So what did he used to tell you about that experience of being in Game 6? He was there. What did he used to convey to you?
Well, one thing that my dad always told me is he said Bill Walton was probably the greatest player he ever saw live.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people tell me that as well.
And my dad was a ball player. I mean, he was a pretty good high school player and everything else, loved basketball. And the other thing that he loved and appreciated about that team was the way Jack taught the game and how they just played. They passed that ball. Offensively, they were moving and shaking. In fact, I think today's Blazers could probably benefit from watching some film on ball movement. And, but he always loved Bill Walton and said that big man, the way he passed, the way he knew the game, he said he was the best player I ever saw live.
Yeah, tremendous. Dwight tells me the same thing. Like, if you saw him in his prime and what he was capable of, and, of course, the only Trailblazer to win league MVP as well, which is pretty darn impressive. You guys competed and played sports, so I want to get your take on this. With you see the Blazers' slow starts, some of the issues out of timeouts. I mean, what's your take on Coach Billups? And is he getting through to the guys? Like, what are you seeing as you're watching the team play right now?
You know, I think it's some coaching, but I think the players ultimately have to come out and be ready. You know, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes starting the game, but these slow starts are just hard to recover. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of just everything you got to get back in the game. And we're seeing at the end of the game, they're just fading. So I don't know. I don't know I think Billups knows the game as well as anybody. I think he's had some great moments. I think the team is still fairly new, still, early in the season, but I think we're getting a little impatient trying to see some results. So,
what are you seeing, Ron?
It's frustrating because we've seen way too many of these starts. It's become common thread with the Blazers having bad starts, and then it's like, oh, they wake up and they have a stretch and they have a run. I've noticed that when the Blazers, they struggle a little bit when Grant is like the third option. When you've got Ant and Dame and Grant out there, sometimes it's clicking, but when Grant's the second option, he really, really shines more. And so I just think there's some roster construction issues. There's some defining the roles issues, and they're still trying to figure all that out. So trading deadline is going to be very, very interesting. But they got to figure this thing out real quick. Here we had this massive homestand, and that's coming to an end on Monday, and it's been disappointing big time. So we're behind the 8 ball again, and we've got to do something, or it's going to get away quick. Yeah,
we were just looking at that, Burkhart and I, immediately after the final buzzer tonight. If you look at the schedule, this homestand was supposed to be where the Blazers made up some ground, and it started with Orlando. They dropped that game 109-106. They lost the next game to Cleveland. They got the back-to-back wins against Dallas, and then they took off to Denver, took a loss, come back home. They lose to Philly and the Lakers. They get victories over San Antonio and Utah. And then they lose tonight to Toronto. So you're right, disappointing. They didn't capitalize on the home games as many thought they would without the travel, getting a chance to get home, get some practice time, and get the rest. They couldn't do it.
Exactly. And this was their time to really – and the thing is about the West this year. It's like you don't have to do too much to get right there.
That's right.
Yeah. If they had a decent homestand, don't blow the game against the Lakers. You beat Orlando. You're right there. And so it's a bummer that they're just blowing this chance with this homestand, and now they got to do some stuff on the road. And
Yeah, here's the deal right now. It's so weird. Blazers right now 10.5 games back of first place Denver. But if you look at the standings, they're only 2.5 games back of Minnesota, who's in 6th, 2.5 back of 5th, where New Orleans sits right now, or 3.5 back of the Clippers, who are 7 games back. But the problem is I look at these other teams that are in competition for those spots. Like the Blazers aren't playing nearly as well as those other teams, and I think the 10-4 start, it's kind of inflated their record a bit from what they actually are. It's really bizarre. All right, let's hear from Coach Billups and get his take on it. Let's step into the Coach's Corner.
It's time for the Coach's Corner with Chauncey Billups on Blazers Game Day, presented by Henderson & Daughter. Henderson & Daughter has been supplying superior design service, quality windows, entry doors, patio doors, and window installation to the Portland and Southwest Washington area since 1977. Before you decide to just replace your current windows or exterior doors, have our designers present you with a free in-home design consultation and estimate to show you the different styles we carry that can give your home a fresh new look. Henderson & Daughter, your window and door experts.
All right, tough game for the Blazers tonight. Just 7 of 24 from 3 for 29%. They got hammered on the glass tonight. And the second chance points, 22-5 edge for the Raptors. Let's take a listen to Coach Billups following the loss.
We talked about it before. Obviously, you can imagine how much I talked to my guys about it. And they just came out and imposed their will against us. And we didn't have enough resistance, to be honest with you. And every time we started to fight and get back in it, you just got to kind of play perfect, and it doesn't really happen like that. So you got to give them credit. And I've always just kind of believed that, like, the most aggressive team is going to have favor. Like, it's just going to always work out in your in the game, and that's what happened. That's what happened with them.
Are you worried they're coming to try?
The starts, I don't like it. But, we're just very inconsistent there. Sometimes we have good starts, and then a lot of times we don't. And when you're playing against a team this physical, you allow them to get going on. It's just it's an uphill battle, man.
What do you think led to not coming out more aggressive after 2 days off? Is it just their physicality?
Yeah, it could have been 3 or 4 days off. It's how they're built. their size really hurt us. I mean, we had 12 rebounds at halftime. Our best 2 rebounders didn't play in the game. What are we going to do? Our best 2 rebounders don't play. We get 12 in the half, 27 for the game. There's not that much you can do about that, guys.
You guys did manage to come back, got to within 94-90.
Mm-hmm.
You guys just ran out of gas, or?
Yeah, I thought, we fought so hard to get back in it, to get it to 4. And I thought we did run out of gas, We had to overplay guys because, then you start putting players in that this is a game that's, it's tough for a young guy to play in. So guys just kind of got worn down a little bit. They just keep wearing on you and keep leaning on you and keep grabbing you, I thought it just wore us down.
All right, there's Coach Billups. I don't know about you guys, but you can hear some of the frustration underneath the surface there.
Yeah, I mean, he right there flat out admitted how much he hates these starts. He doesn't like them. Well, let's do something about it. I mean, again, it's way too common. And all the lickety-brindles up the middle tonight were happening with the freaking Raptors going right up the middle and offensive rebounds all over the place. I mean, it starts with grinding it on the perimeter in that defense, and it was a disaster. That first quarter was arguably the worst first quarter in years.
And that's saying something because they've had some bad ones so far this year.
Yeah, it was a nightmare from the beginning.
Nightmare.
Yeah, we were just lucky Nasir hit that 3 at the buzzer, because if not, we were in even worse trouble.
Yeah.
It was nice to see him get some burn in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just a matter of time until he locks that down, especially with Hart likely gone by the deadline. It's just a matter of time until Nasir gets a chance to start. And then the good thing is that hopefully he can stay healthy. That's really the only knock on Nasir is just availability, unable to stay healthy for long stretches.
If Nasir can stay healthy, we might, in about 3 years, look at his contract and say that is the greatest bargain and the best value in the world. I mean, right now, the best value on that team as far as value is Eubanks.
Oh, there's no question. He's making like 1.9 and just balling his ass off.
Eubanks is unbelievable. I mean, so, yeah, Nasir, that's the type of NBA player and the type of player that Chauncey wants and that we need around Dame is the 3-and-D, the wings, the length, the guys that can kind of do it all. And Toronto's loaded with those guys. And OG didn't even play. I mean, OG didn't even play tonight, and
yeah, they put Chua in the starting lineup.
Yeah, and it was still a disaster.
All right, 503-248-0620. Let's go out to the phones. We got the Gibb family in the house tonight. Little fifth quarter celebration. Ron and Tom. Let's go out to Victor in Turkey. Victor, welcome back to the fifth quarter, buddy. Fire away.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. There are several things that I can get from this game. One of the callers from Utah said he was confused or something. How he became the Blazer fan. So that includes me myself. The reason I think I became a Blazer fan because I live in Portland for a long time, but right now I'm paying the price for it. I think the Blazers. I think the solution for Blazer, Chad, is they have to have 10 good players, 5 in the starters, very good player, and 5 in the bench. And right now they don't have that. And also, I really support Damian. It's not his fault that they lost. But what I'm saying is, in professional game, I remember 2 days ago, Godfather said something to you. He said, well, the professional players come to the game, they do their job. They're not going to get fired like a regular job, like your job or my job. So they come and play, but the fans, they are the ones that they get hurt the most. That was Godfather said. So what I'm saying is, there is a big difference between professional NBA player and amateur player in the Middle East or another country. Because when I started, I was playing amateur soccer, and I was playing so hard. No matter the guy was 6'5", I'm only 5'8". I play in Germany. The guy was 3 times harder than me, but What I'm saying is when I play amateur games, I play so hard that I shouldn't be afraid of anything. So that was another difference. But the thing is, the other team, they don't respect the Blazers. Like this Raptors, they're 12. They are 12 in the Eastern Conference. They're not a contender, but they don't. The body language is, their point guard or Siakam or something. They come here and they don't respect the Blazers. And the body language is like that. They pound on the Blazers. They say, well, we are more physical and we can take the game. I can feel that they don't respect the Blazers. Even they know they have the best point guard. They still don't respect that, and that goes on the Blazer players, that they have to get upset of it. If somebody don't respect you as a personal, you're gonna get upset and you're gonna do something about it. But this losing the players, the Blazer players, they should take it on them. This is a disrespect to the Blazer players, all of them, and they have to take it personally. It's like a personal challenge. So that's why it's psychology. If somebody don't respect me, I'm a small guy. I'm not a big guy. I'm 5'8". But if somebody come at 6'5", and in the Middle East, if somebody come, 10 times bigger than me, I have to defend myself. I have to put my life on the line. So that's the kind of psychology. So they have to be psychology high, and they have to play physical game. And as I said, they have to have 5 good players and 5 on the bench. No, the Keon Johnson. I'm not fond of Keon Johnson from the Lakers. We gave out a lot of good players. Like Gabriel, 6'11", that played with the Lakers.
Yep.
The Gabriel, 6'11", when he came to Portland, he was the first one to get to remove him. Like J.J. Hickson, that I told you last week. I don't know, the GM, when they want to improve the team, they're trying to improve it. It doesn't look like they're trying to improve it. The players we gave out, we gave out a lot of good players. Like Cunningham, we gave him to Milwaukee, a contender, Cunningham. And we gave this, Trent Jr. to Raptor, that he scored 30, 40 points. So I don't know what's going on. I'm just confused. Maybe you have the answer, but I'm confused.
Well, I appreciate the phone call. I don't have the answer, but I do understand your frustration as a Trailblazer fan of being tortured all these years. Much like Ron and Tom, they're tortured as well.
You know what's so great about Victor is he keeps bringing up J.J. Hickson on some of his calls.
Yeah.
And if Victor was the GM of the Blazers, he would have signed J.J. to like a max deal for like 5 years and $220 million.
Yeah, and Connaughton.
But Victor, it's so great to hear your voice over in Turkey, man. Like the biggest Rip City guy in Turkey. That's amazing.
It is amazing. Let's go back out to the phones. Daniel, North Phoenix. Daniel, what's up, buddy? Welcome to the show.
I guess, Chad, I just want to come out and tell you how frustrated I am. I guess what kind of clown show is going on in the first quarter where they get down by double digits? It's happened multiple times. I don't know who to blame for that. Is it Coach Billups? Is he just running the circus out there? I guess, can you please explain what's going on? Because my frustration level with the lack of effort from this team, I get they're not very good as a basketball team, but it's not like they're going out there playing the Golden State Warriors from 2017. Can we get a little bit better effort out there? That's all I'm asking. What's up with the effort?
No, that's a great point. I go back to what Tom said. It's easy to point the finger at Coach Billups, but these guys are pros. So it's like it's not Coach Billups' job to roll up on each guy and say, hey, are you ready to go tonight? No, your preparation, mentally, you should be ready to go and hit the floor with that intensity and the approach, right? So I think that's more on the players, the way they start games, than it is on Coach Billups. That's what I think. Now, it could be an indication that the guys are just shutting it down on Coach Billups. I don't think that's the case, but I put it on the players for how they start, the mental approach, physically, the way they approach the game. You got to come out ready to go, especially on a night where there's no Nurk and no Hart. Be aggressive. Get after it because you're going to have to rebound as a team to not get hammered on the glass.
Yeah, one thing I noticed tonight, Chad, I was kind of watching when the Blazers got across that three-point line and they would attack, the Toronto guys were coming right up in their face, kind of punching them as they came into the lane.
Yeah, they're a physical team.
Yeah, and I watched when the Toronto Raptors came through, I just watched every Blazer would just backpedal and just back up to the hoop until they were stuck under the basket, and they were just getting 3-point plays over and over again.
Yeah.
And that's just wanting it more.
And there is no excuse. Toronto played last night in a tough game. They're on a back-to-back. They come in here getting in at 2, 3 in the morning. OG is not playing with them. We had 2 nights off. We've been sleeping in our own beds for like 20 of the last 22 nights. We've had 2 days off, and we roll in like that?
Yeah.
I mean, there is no excuse whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's just
like the fourth quarter tonight, the Blazers outscored 35-22. You know, when they pulled it within 4, you thought, okay, now the energy with them playing the second of a back-to-back, they'd be able to overwhelm them a bit, and it never materialized. 14-0 run, game over. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Charlie. Hey, Charlie, welcome back to the fifth quarter, brother.
Hey, thanks. Loving the forum. You guys are awesome together. Victor, great call once again, but I love you guys' take on who we'd have starting if he were the GM. But having said that, the teacher I work with, he went to a game early in the season, and he came back, and what he talked about was how Winslow and Hart were the dogs on the team and how they kind of led everybody, and the intensity and everything that you guys are talking about, to picking guys up early, all that stuff is contagious. It doesn't happen. We have great, great players, but we have highlight players. We have highlight film guys. We have, yes, they're going to score 60. Yes, he can take over. Victor's with his, he can take over a game. He can take over a game. I don't want guys who can take over a game once in a while. I want guys who want to win every game because they play both ends every single minute of every single game, not just the highlight this, the highlight that. I think we have way too much of that, and we got to get more grit, toughness, all the things. We look at Miami, Toronto. We need to become that kind of team. We're not going to get the best players in the league just because we are Portland, but we can get tough guys who want to win basketball games and aren't so worried about stats. Everybody's going to be mad at me for saying that, but we need a lot more guys like Fred VanVleet than we do like Simons or even, I hate to say it, Dame.
All right, appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much. There's Charlie. Looking at the Blazers tonight, Jeremy Grant had 26 points, 8 rebounds on 9 of 19 shooting. Eubanks tonight got the start, played 22 minutes in place of Nurk, who was out with the calf. 7 points. They got 30 from Dame on 10 of 20 shooting. He was just 2 of 9 from 3. 14 from Simons on 7 of 12 shooting in 40 minutes. And no one off the bench really making a lot of noise. 6 for Watford, 6 for Sharp. 503-248-0620. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. Let's go out to, oh, yeah, I like this. Let's go to Salt Lake City. Parker, who is part of the Give family. Parker, welcome to the fifth quarter. What you got for me?
Chad, what's up? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, baby.
Dad, how we doing?
Parker, listen, I know you were going to come to Portland and you were thinking about it, but you had to go on a business trip on Monday morning. I'm just so glad you weren't here because you are like diehard Blazer fan, but in this kind of performance, you freaking lose your mind. And tonight, you would have been on Burnside walking down the street by the end of the first quarter. It was a train wreck.
I would have been at Grandma's by halftime.
Yeah, you and Grandma watching the game by halftime, eating some of her awesome, awesome pie would have been a heck of a lot better than that game. That was a disaster, Parker.
It was a disaster. Chad, I just want to say this. Usually it's my dad calling in. Figured I'd fill in today since he's in studio.
That's a good idea.
My dad and I, we love the Blazers more than anyone. But I always like to say I'm the realest of the family. You know, since I've been young, before every season in October, my dad always says, "This is the year. This is the year something happens." And it's never been the year. And I was thinking the other day watching Dame, who we all know Dame's the GOAT. We love Dame. Dropped 60 on the Jazz. And I was just thinking to myself, how sad is it that the best team they've given Damian Lillard was C.J. McCollum, Mo Harkless, Yusuf Nurkic, and Evan Turner. It's just, you know, we watch Dame, we see the greatness he provides, and we're at the tail end of his career, and it's just like, I think this will be one of the biggest what-ifs in Trailblazer history. And we're coming up on another trade deadline, and there's all these rumors going around of, well, we could move Hart, we could move Nurkic. But in reality, it's like, what can we really do? You know, who can they really bring in to maximize this roster and to maximize Dame's prime and career. And, you know, I love the Blazers as much as anybody, but the realist in me, it's just sad to see that, you know, we had this player like Dame and we really never gave him a true chance. So I ask you, Chad, do you believe there's any possibility with the current roster and the assets that we have that they could possibly build a team around Dame that could actually contend for a title?
No.
And that's where I'm at. So the Blazer in me, as much as I love the Blazers, I love Dame. And I would be perfectly okay if the Blazers in the next couple of years came to the conclusion and said, you know what, Dame, go get a ring. Go give yourself a real chance to win a ring because he deserves it as much as anybody in the NBA.
All right, Parker. Nice work tonight, man. Thanks for filling in and taking the role of Ron on the phones.
Hey, son, you better keep driving around Salt Lake City with that Rip City license plate proudly. Maybe you should pimp out your wheels and really make it cool. But you keep driving that Rip City license plate. You got it?
Will do. All right. Thanks for letting me on, guys.
There you go.
Happy birthday.
Hey, thanks, Parker. Missed you there tonight, but it's probably a good thing you weren't there. It would have probably involved the cops by the end of the game. Rip City, baby.
I love it, man. I love Parker calling in. He's the realist. You guys said he was a psycho fan. He's
He is.
both realist and psycho.
He's a realist. He's crazy. Like, Chad, I have to tell. Can I tell a quick story?
Of course.
A few years ago, when the Blazers lost in the playoffs, I can't remember what team it was. It was who? It was the Mavericks. We were playing the Mavericks. It was a total disappointing game. By the end of the night, Parker and I were on opposite ends of the house because we were screaming and yelling like idiots.
Yeah.
Well, I went for a walk. I had to get out of the house and just blow off some steam. I didn't know that Parker had left the house and he was blowing off some steam. But we had gone opposite ways.
Yeah.
And coming around the block, I see this silhouette of somebody approaching me. And as I'm walking closer and closer, it's Parker. And he sees me. And literally, we didn't say a word to each other. We didn't even stop our strides. We just kept walking. He looked at me. I looked at him. And we both, like, simultaneously at the same time just said, Rip City. And kept walking in opposite directions.
That's right, man.
Yeah, it was classic.
You knew and he knew what was going on, and nothing needed to be said.
Yeah, that was it. Like our heads were down. It was just like, oh, we had to go through this again. And we just kind of looked at each other and just said, oh, Rip City.
Yeah, Rip City. Let's go out to Dan in Southeast. Dan, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show.
Chad, I got a question for you. Would you not agree? I've been calling into this show for years at this point.
Yep.
Is it safe to say that I'm, pound for pound, one of the most optimistic callers, generally speaking?
Yeah, one of the
From
best
like a
and most
glass half full
optimistic. Yes,
perspective?
no question.
Yeah, that's what makes this one difficult because this was obviously not a fun game to watch, and you know, the Raptors exploited our lack of size and our injuries, but injuries are a minimal excuse right now. Like, what team doesn't have starters out? Or, like, we're 50 games in. Every team can say that they've struggled with injuries and had to make do and improvise on the fly and everything else. What concerns me is it really felt it's almost like, you know, you throw a new quarterback in. Like, a quarterback goes down for the season, you throw somebody in, and they may see some success early on because teams can't game plan for them. But you go look at a new quarterback, you know, by their sixth game or so, and by that time, coaches have had time to watch a bunch of film, and they formulated like a short list of things to look out for and everything else. And I don't know if this is true, but it really, some stuff I saw tonight has me questioning whether that's happening with this team from a coaching standpoint, from a coaching philosophy standpoint, because it really seemed like the Raptors had us just wired. They knew exactly, and I mean, it's not rocket science. We're down a starting center. We're a small team, you know, pushed inside to win the battle of the boards and blah, blah, blah. But it really concerns me that they were able to exploit that so efficiently, and we did not really have an answer. Like, there's things you can do about that. I'm not an NBA coach, so I don't know, but I really feel like that's a failing of the coaching staff to not come up with a better way to staunch the bleeding on the stuff. And frankly, that's on the front office as well. We were all talking about the lack of size all through the off season, and I'm not even sure if they're going to make a move at the deadline. I don't know. So at the end of the day, this loss highlighted some huge problems with the roster. It highlighted what I see right now as deficiencies in the coaching approach and the strategy. Yeah, it's on the players, to bring it from an effort standpoint. That is also partially on the coaching staff to know what buttons to push and know how to keep things fresh and keep guys. This is tough to get up for 82 games. So highlighted problems in the front office and the approach to building a contending team. Problems with coaching as other teams are figuring out more and more what we do and how to, put the wood to us. And problems with the players not bringing the effort consistently that is going to be needed to challenge for in the West for just getting into the play-in, much less anything else. So as the hometown optimist, I do not have a lot of optimism right about now, but it's one game and Rip City, baby.
All right,
Later.
Dan. I appreciate it, man. I understand the frustration. There were whispers on a national level before the season began that the word on Billups was that he is disorganized, that was the word on him. Clearly, he's been in a slump coaching-wise for the last month, maybe 6 weeks, and I am concerned about the slow starts. I'm concerned about some of the plays drawn up coming out of timeouts. And then, of course, defense. They were 23rd in defensive rating going into the game tonight, so we're not seeing the progress defensively in terms of what he's looking to accomplish. So, there are question marks there. And, of course, he's a new coach with really his first year because last year was a tank season, so a lot of work to do. All right, we'll come back on fifth quarter. We'll continue to take your phone calls. We got more with Ron and Tom. We've got the Gibb family in the house tonight. Final score tonight, Raptors over the Blazers, 123-105. Or you could jump on board, 503-248-0620. It's the fifth quarter here on your home of the Blazers, 620 Rip City Radio.
I hope we're not destroying your show, Chad.
team awards, and so much more. Collection Connection offers you a one-stop, full-service framing experience. Find them online at COLLCONN.com.
There's a pass that's deflected and stolen by Sharp. Into the front court, hammers it down with the right hand. Giving you a preview of that slam dunk contest.
All right, the fifth quarter, there's your poster play of the night. The Blazers fall to the Raptors by a final score of 123 to 105. Rough night for the Blazers tonight. Your telephone number, if you want to jump on board, is 503-248-0620. We got the Gibb family in the house tonight. Ron in Salt Lake and his brother Tom are in the house. Ron in Salt Lake in town. I thought, dude, you guys should just come in studio, and they did. And so they're here talking a little hoop with us. Let's go back out to the phones. Tall Tim is out there somewhere. Let's find him. Tall Tim, welcome to the show. What's up, buddy?
Well, I'm going to take Dame's point of view when I think it was when the last year, right, when Chauncey's first year and they had Dame step up to the mic. What did he say? Everybody buckle up. It's going to take a while. I think we need this draft pick this year just as a trade chip. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but it is a deal. So as much as we get frustrated, I think we still need to look at the point of view that we're not going to win it this year. So we have to look at what we have and try to make some improvements. And you can't coach height if you got a bunch of guys that are going to go up there and grab the ball. How do you coach that? I mean, we didn't have guys that could grab the ball tonight, and that's a point. And if you're not making your three, today's NBA is all about are you making your threes, and especially for Portland, without anybody down there to grab the rebounds, you got to make threes, and we were like 20% or something in the first half, and that's the game. So. I mean, I don't. People talk about effort, but I mean, it kind of comes down to fundamentals, really. So I think everybody should just. Well, I don't know. Everybody can do what they want to do, but for me, I'm going to relax and take the long view, like Dame said, and hang in there.
All right, Tom. Well, I mean, Tim, I appreciate that, man. Nothing wrong with being patient. You'll be the only person in town doing that tonight. And by the way, Burkhart, you seeing this right now? Their grandma started up a pie discussion on the YouTube chat.
No, I literally just said that here in the control room. I'm like, one comment about pie, and that is what YouTube has dove into now. So everyone just mentioned their favorite pies.
So grandma was known for pie. Is that the case, guys?
Okay, Chad, I know I'm biased, but there's a lot of people in this town that have tasted my mother's fresh peach pie. Now, do you like peaches?
I do.
All right. I have a promise for you.
Okay.
That when I come back to Portland this summer, we're going to come to your studio and bring you a fresh-made peach pie from my mom.
Is this good stuff or what, Tom?
We need to bring about 5 or 6 pies. In the summertime when the peaches are fresh, I kid you not, I will probably eat 5 or 6 pies a week just by myself.
All right. So what's your guys' favorite? Because the discussion's going anywhere from pecan all the way to rhubarb to peach and everything else. What do you guys like?
Well, mine for sure. I mean, I love all pies. I love banana cream. I love them all. But my mom's fresh peach pie, going up to Canby, growing up, we'd go out to Canby and pick peaches fresh. And my mom would pound out, I'm not kidding, she would sometimes pound out 15 pies at a time.
It's incredible.
And it is the best fresh peach pie in the world, and you'll learn that this summer. So,
what's your favorite, Burkhart? You lean one direction or another on a pie?
Oh, I'm a November baby, so it's hard to pass up a pumpkin pie for me.
All right, pumpkin.
Yeah.
There's another one. What about you, Tom? You down with the peach? Is that your fave?
Peach is number 1. Number 2, for my birthday every year, I want 3 vanilla creams to myself.
Wow.
What's yours, Chad?
I'm not much of a dessert guy, but it would be pecan.
Oh, there you go.
I grew up in Oklahoma. Pecans are massive, back in the state of Oklahoma. So I always grew up with my Nana, just like, grandma for Parker. But my Nana made great pie and the best hotcakes.
So here's a question for you, because pecan pie is one of those things that most of the time little kids can't stand pecans.
Yes.
Like pecan pie is horrible until you get a little older, and then you're like, wait,
Yeah.
this actually is pretty good.
Yeah.
Did you like it from the get-go?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's because Nana was serving it up to me, right?
Yeah.
If Mom would have done it to somebody else, they'd be like,
Yeah.
that's nasty. But Nana's like, oh, you need to try this. And I would try things for her, and I tried it. I was like, yeah, that is good. So we did that. But that was my papa's thing to do. He would go, he would do it to pass time in his retirement. Like, he loved to go and collect pecans, and he had the nutcracker at home, and he would spend all day, like, cracking pecans and having conversation.
man.
And then he would clean them out because he knew if he did that Nana would find other ways to use the pecans once he cracked them.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
For
So,
pie and
Burkhart,
everything
I
else.
got a question for you.
Yo.
So I love pumpkin pie as well, and I'll just throw something out there for Costco. I mean, maybe I'm breaking policy here by saying this because they're not paying advertising money, but Costco has unbelievable pumpkin pies when they're in season. Like, I don't like store-bought pumpkin pie. I like homemade, pumpkin pie. I love it too. But Costco has unbelievable pumpkin pie. Have you tried it? Do you like it?
Oh yes, I would concur. That is factual.
And I think you're onto something there. My buddy Luke, my workout partner, he swears by their key lime pie. He said it's the best key lime pie he had. He told me in secret that it's better than his wife Rachel's, but he won't say that publicly. But he said it's money, and he goes, it shouldn't be that way, but it is that way.
Well, I hope his wife's not listening tonight because you just said it for him.
Yeah, I don't think she is.
Chad with the key lime pie. I lived in Florida for 2 years, and I ate my fair share of key lime pie.
Which part of Florida were you in?
I was down in Miami. So the secret to a key lime pie is it can't be bitter. It has to just be tart.
Yes, tart. That's the key.
And Costco does. I will say they do a good job of making it
so you know what
tart,
I'm
not
talking
bitter.
about,
Yeah, they're
now,
good.
Burkhart, that was you telling me that when you would go and travel with the Blazers, when you were covering them, you love going down to Miami.
Yeah, I've only been there a few times, but Miami's wonderful. I mean, how can you not like Miami?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I went down to the Keys a few times and had real key lime pie in the Keys. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. What was that walk you said over there was like a little bridge over the walk. You see the water and the.
Oh yeah, from the hotel, walked over Biscayne Bay and down into like South Beach area. It's like a beautiful walk. Beautiful walk.
That's one place I have not been to Florida. Farthest south I've been down there is Georgia. So I've been to Atlanta in that area, but I have not been to Florida yet. But I'd love to go down there sometime.
How great would it be to get Miami's coach?
Oh, he's the best. And he's got Portland ties.
I know. Jeez.
I mean, he's pound for pound one of the best. I mean, honestly, if you could handpick a coach, that would probably be the guy, wouldn't it? Would it be him? Spoelstra? You could handpick a guy for the Blazers?
If you could handpick a guy, it'd be Spo.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about Spoelstra and Riley. Like, I can't remember who the caller was that was talking about how they just don't come out with the energy. And, sometimes one thing that Spoelstra and Riley teams do, they play hard.
Always.
And they get after it always.
All right, here's I know this story for a fact from a Miami Heat player. I think Burkhart's familiar with the story, but this is a few years ago. Spoelstra's running his guys through practice, right? And he's not getting the reaction that he wants from his guys. So he blows his whistle, and all of a sudden from the upstairs office, walking down the steps, it's Pat Riley, right? He lined up all the guys on the wall, and he said, yeah, from my understanding, you're not given the type of effort and focus that we require as Miami Heat players. If you got an issue with that and you don't want to do things our way, I've got an open door. You can come up and see me, and we'll make arrangements for you. But if you don't come see me, then I expect you to play your ass off. And that's the key there, the synergy, right, where the general manager and the president, Pat Riley, supports his coach completely to where there's no shenanigans going on. This is how we do things. This is the way we're going to do it. This is the coach. His name's Eric Spoelstra. Listen and do everything he says.
Yeah, exactly. Bingo. Sometimes I think in today's NBA, the players control the narrative. But the thing is a good coach and a good GM and a good franchise and a president or whatever, they set that culture and they have accountability and they set expectations on this is how we're going to play. And they get those types of players that are going to do it.
Yeah.
And
most players, people don't understand this, but most players want to be coached and they want structure because that's what they've grown up in sports most of their life.
And they know a good coach is going to allow them to succeed, which is going to make them more money.
Bingo. If you are coached by the right guy and you reach different levels, that's going to equal more dollars, right?
Exactly.
All right, let's take a listen to Ant tonight. after the loss and see what he had to say. Ant tonight in the game had 14 points, just 7 of 12. Not too aggressive tonight in 40 minutes of action.
Obviously, we was pretty on the sides tonight, so that was one of the emphasis. But damn, they just crashed the glass, and they big dudes, so it's hard to box them out every single time and keep them off the glass. So I think that was the difference.
Chauncey said before the game he wanted to reduce the number of offensive rebounds you guys gave up the first time you played them, but clearly without Nurkic and Hart, that made it pretty difficult.
Yeah, for sure. Just like I said, we just didn't had the size tonight, but I think we still did a good job of, making it a game at certain points during the game. It's just only a certain only so much you can do, especially rebound the ball, and we obviously overmatched with size and athleticism and height. So,
what do you think helped you guys in the third quarter kind of get back into it?
I think we just got stops. We got a couple of lucky bounces on the rebounds, and we was out there trying our hardest to box out, and I think they was missing shots, and then came our way, and then we was able to get out, get going on the offensive end. So I think that's what made us come back.
All right, there's Ant. I think they were 15 of 18 from the field in that third quarter. They were on fire.
Yeah, they did come out at halftime, and I don't know what was said at halftime, but they did come out and make a game of it. I mean, let's give them some credit for doing that. I think they cut it to 4.
They got it down to 4 at the start of the fourth quarter after a bucket from Dame.
Yeah, I mean, they chipped away. I mean, let's give the Blazers some credit tonight for chipping away, but they're the ones that put themselves in the hole.
Yeah.
And that we all know how difficult that is, although we did let the Lakers freaking get out of their hole of 25 points at halftime.
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me of that, by the way.
Oh,
I had almost erased that one from
This
memory.
homestand, Chad, has been it's just been disappointing.
Yeah. Orlando, Philadelphia, the Laker game tonight. Yeah. Multiple examples. Let's go out to Gresham. Forrest and Gresham. What's up, Forrest? Welcome to the fifth quarter.
Hey, I kind of liked that game, but I didn't like the start out of the first. They would just try to see here. I want to make sure I wasn't having any problems. Yeah, can you hear me a little better now?
Oh, you sound great, Forrest.
Yeah, okay. I got my radio turned down too. Yeah, I was thinking, if we lose this one, I was thinking about doing one of those deals where I don't shave and maybe I could grow a beard and would it be ready for Christmas by next year or by this summer? It's like, how am I going to look for trying to get a new job? No, Forrest here in Gresham, I don't know if you know this, Chad, but I decided I wanted to do the best thing that I could do in this country, so I wanted to be an inventor. So I work with wood products, and I make wood home products. I just got my first one out there. They're going to be making it here for your front door patio. It's called a mid-step, half-step. And so it's got to go through development, pre-development. So, yeah, I got my will coming to me and all that, but I hope someday, I don't know what my income could be in 3 to 5 years from now. I want to buy a house, haven't been able to buy a house at my age yet. So, as a retired senior citizen, I'm hoping to be able to do that. And my stuff's going to make it out there in retail. And what's really cool about it is the vice president is the only one that calls me. So I get to know about how to be an inventor, entrepreneur. So I think maybe I can be somebody famous yet in this lifetime of mine, because I was a Winchester farmer's son. I was born and raised in South Dakota. I was on a big farm. So, my dreams are big. I'm going to get a couple $100,000 here anytime from my late parents, Willard, that I had there were 6 sons and an older sister. But yeah, there's only 5 of us now. I have big hopes for Portland, and what do you think about the trade deadline? Do you think we're going to, just give up that one player, or do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Well, that's a good question, Forrest. Congrats on your success, and I'll ask you guys that. From what I'm hearing, Josh Hart's the most likely guy to get moved out because he's got a player option at the end of the year. He's going to opt out. He's scheduled to make 12.9. He's in his prime, so clearly he's going to look to get paid. The Blazers' number one priority is Jeremy Grant, who they can offer the max to, which they did. He can wait until the offseason to get a 5th year. So from my understanding, they're not going to be able to have the cash to pay both Grant and Hart. So Hart's going to get moved. the question is, are they going to go for the bigger move, which would include Hart and maybe Nurkic? We know that Anthony is likely untouchable. So what do you guys think? Plus, the other issue, too, is that you're a team that below 500, not playing good basketball, probably not a legit contender in the West. So do you want to risk making the playoffs and miss out on a rich draft? Because if you make the playoffs, they don't get their first-round pick, which would convey to Chicago. Where do you guys come out on all that mess?
Well, Cronin's really going to have an opportunity to see what he's made of with this trade deadline. One of the things I love about being a fan is all of this off-the-court stuff, right?
Yeah.
Trades,
We love
draft,
it.
all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. And so when you look at the collective bargaining agreement, when the algorithm that you're looking at is collective bargaining agreement, roster, the players you have, what they're getting paid, what their specific contracts are, what other teams are looking for. When you take that whole algorithm into the equation, as much as I love him and what he brings to the table, it's Josh Hart. I mean, a GM is going to look at that and say, I have to move Josh Hart.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the common fans don't go deep into that algorithm, right? And, they just say, well, geez, why don't we just go get OG? Well, it's a lot harder than you think.
Yeah, and the report that Woj was talking about was like the Raptors are seeking like 3 first-round picks for him.
Yeah, well, Portland doesn't even have 3 first-round picks. I mean, how many do we have? Like 1 in the next, I don't know how many years?
None that they can deal because of that protection that's on the first-round pick that's Chicago's, right? That's the problem.
So it's going to be hard. Nurkic, I don't think we're going to be able to get back what is probably worth to move him, as frustrating as Nurk can be.
Yeah, because
Nurk
he's got size and he's valuable to this team, what he brings.
Yes, so I think it's going to be hard, if anything.
Yeah. All right, let's go back out to the phones. Let's grab Justin. Justin, appreciate the phone call. You're up on the 5th quarter.
Hey, this is Justin and Brandon. So we just want to ask, how does this team compare to the 77 championship team with Lionel Hollins, Bill Walton, and the good coach Jack Ramsey? What do we need to do compared to that team to improve?
Well, I mean, I got to be honest with you, Justin. This team right now doesn't compare in any way, shape, or form to the championship team. That was a special team that had the NBA MVP on its roster, and it was littered with guys who could shoot and do a variety of different things. So there's really no comparison between this squad and that squad.
But we have Lillard.
That's it.
That's true, and nothing else, really, compared to the 77 team.
Okay, so we need just more, we need a guy inside, and we need a good coach?
Well, I think what the Blazers need right now, and you guys can chime in this, I would say in order of importance, I think starting small forward next to Grant, or get a power forward and slide the Grant to the 3. So you need a starting forward. I think after that, you need bench scoring because the bench is one of the weakest elements of the team. And after that, I would say if you could upgrade the center position, you would do that. Those are kind of the 3 areas. Would you guys agree with that? Or do you see another area that would need to be addressed?
Yes, I do agree with that. But I'm going to take it one step further. I actually watched in 90 and 92. I was at those finals games in person. And I remember also when Scottie Pippen around 2000.
Yeah.
The thing that I think those teams had, along with 77, obviously, they just had enforcers. They had guys that went out there, and under no circumstances were they going to get sucker punched.
Yeah.
They were going to bring it every night. They were going to be the ones that went out there and said, we're going to win this game. We're not going to let you come in and take this from us. And aside from Dame taking over a few times here and there tonight, we haven't seen that hardly from anybody.
All right, let's go back out to the phones. Let's go to Derek in Utah. Derek, are you a friend with one of these guys in studio? What's up, brother?
Hey, I'm just calling in, Chad, to say how lucky you are to have the mighty Gibb boys in the house tonight. They are magic. Rip City, love the Blazers, and every time the Blazers play, we all get to hear a firsthand experience about the Blazers down here in Layton, Utah.
Now, Derek, are you a Jazz fan?
Let me tell you something, John. As much as Gibb is a Blazer fan, I love the Jazz, and I'm still sucking my thumb in my blanket from 2 nights ago when you guys killed us, or Dame killed us.
Hancock, you are the man. You listen. This is one of my best buddies in Utah. We live in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
And Chad, you'll appreciate this. There's not a bigger Cowboys fan on the freaking planet. The other night after they lost, he's like, you got to come up to Pineview Reservoir and save me because this guy's a nut job when it comes to the Cowboys.
Great. So he's like one of the worst human beings ever. Huge Cowboy and Jazz fan. Nice. My type of guy.
Hey, Chad, one other thing. I want to tell you that I saw that night when Ron and Perk were walking around the neighborhood, sucking their thumbs and had their binkies in them. And the other thing I want to ask Gib to do is, I've heard so much about this peach pie. I want the peach pie hand delivered from Grandma.
Yeah, come on,
when
man.
you get back into town.
All right, Hancock, I'll make you a deal.
Take care of your boy.
We will make you a full peach pie. Okay, listen. Here's the deal. On radio, live, you have to let me watch a Cowboys game with you, and I will bring a full peach pie. Deal?
Come on, Derek.
I invited you twice this year, and you didn't show up.
And what's up with that?
Well, I was out of town on one, and he knew I was out of town.
Oh.
So he used that card.
Oh, it's one of those deals that they give the invite knowing you can't make it.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate
exactly.
that too.
Yeah. And then another time he said, well, maybe come over at halftime, and we'll see how it goes.
This has been a great experience, Chad. It's been a fun show listening to you guys up there, and take advantage of having Tom and Ron and even Tyler in the house tonight. They love the Blazers.
That's great, man. Appreciate the phone call. I love that.
He's a great dude. He's a good man.
All right, we'll come back on fifth quarter, and we'll keep things rolling here. I'll give you a scoreboard update, courtesy of A. 503-248-0620. We got the Gibb family in the house. Ron and Tom taking over the show. I love it. 503-248-0620. Next game will come up on Monday, 7 o'clock tip against Atlanta. I'll have game day starting at 4:30 along with Chris here on 620 Rip City Radio.
Chad, this is like so fun.
always sounds good for dinner.
Rebound tipped by Little, picked up by Grant in the front court. 2 on 3. Grant slows it down, gives it to Dame. Dame from way downtown, buries it from Dame distance.
All right, fifth quarter, the Raptors, unfortunately, over the Blazers tonight, 123-105. The homestand is going to end on Monday. The Atlanta Hawks are going to be in town. Tip-off at 7. We'll have game day starting at 4:30. Let's go ahead and get you a update around the association.
The fifth quarter on 620 Rip City Radio presents the Scoreboard Report, brought to you by the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill, A-L-N-A's ultimate venue for sports fans every Monday night, featuring beer and wing specials and more.
All right, we start tonight. Game that was played earlier today. How about the Sixers taking out the Nuggets 126-119? It might be a finals preview. You got to love the battle at center, the two best. Joel Embiid, 47 points, 18 rebounds, 3 steals. Jokic, 24 points, 8 boards, 9 assists in the loss. In Brooklyn, the Nets over the Knicks, 122-115. Irving finished the night with 32 points and 9 assists. In Detroit, the Rockets over the Pistons, 117-114. Eric Gordon had 24 points, 7 assists. In Orlando, the Bulls over the Magic, 128-109. DeMar DeRozan, 32 points, 8 assists. In Atlanta, the Clippers over the Hawks, 120-113. Kawhi Leonard, 32 points, 8 rebounds. Minnesota tops the Kings in Minneapolis, 117-110. Edwards, 34 points, 10 boards, 6 assists. In New Orleans, the Wizards over the Pelicans, 113-103. Gafford had 21 points and 12 boards to go with 5 blocks. In overtime, down in San Antonio, the Suns over the Spurs, 128-118. Chris Paul, 31 points, 11 assists. In Boston, overtime thriller with the Lakers and Celtics. Boston gets the win, 125-121. Jaylen Brown, 37 points, 9 boards. The Jazz over the Mavericks in Utah tonight, 108-100. Lauri Markkanen continuing to kill it, 29 points. And the Raptors over the Trailblazers, 123-105. All right, the Gibb family is in studio. What a pleasure it is to have them. And now behind the mic is Tyler. Now, Tyler, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on. Now, you're actually a broadcast major at BYU. Is that true?
I am, yeah. Senior at BYU right now in their broadcast program, then interning with, unfortunately, the Utah Jazz. Great experience working with the Jazz, great people. But, I'm a Nuggets fan, believe it or not. Somehow.
Well, that makes sense. So Utah and Colorado close to one another, and you probably get a chance to see some Nuggets games. They're fun to watch. Good players.
Yeah, they're good team right now. Ron got me away from the Jazz growing up in Utah, but fell to the Nuggets instead of the Blazers.
No, that's okay. I used to live in Colorado, and when I was younger, my first exposure was watching playoff games with like Magic and Larry Bird in the finals. But it was great back in the day because you could roll right up to McNichols and just buy tickets at the box office and go in and watch. And my favorite players on the team were like Alex English and Fat Lever and Calvin Nat. And my dad would take me to games. And I was so upset because we moved out here to the Northwest in '87. And I had planned and I was all ready to go to the Fat Lever Calvin Nat basketball camp. And then my parents made the decision to move, and then when I found out the move date, I'm like, wait a second, what about the basketball camp? And they're like, yeah, it's not going to happen now. And I'm like, what do you mean it's not going to happen? So I missed out on my Nuggets camp. But how are you? You're working with David Locke, getting a chance to do some work with him on the Jazz broadcast. How are you enjoying that?
It's been great. David's fantastic at what he's doing. We get to do stats for the broadcasts. We'll work with TV, radio, opposing teams, and then we work cutting up sound bites, interviews. So getting that experience with David, working with him and the other broadcasters with the Jazz and other teams, great.
And you're doing stuff with BYU TV?
Yeah, working the coaches' shows with Coach Mark Pope, Kalani Sitake, doing that whole gig. So, yeah, great experience.
So what is it, have you decided, like, what, realm you want to get into, TV, radio? Like, what has interested you so far in your studies?
The end goal is calling games, just play-by-play, probably basketball. But, working the different TV shows, things like that, a talk show, something like this, I like it all.
So what year are you in school right now?
Senior.
Oh, dude, sweet, man.
Yep. So graduate in December.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Chad, you got to ask Tyler about how he became the Denver superfan and how he ended up on billboards all across Colorado.
Oh, I got to hear this. Talk to me. Now, are you a Bronco fan? Because that's my number one team.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a Falcons fan, so
That's whack.
Yeah.
Oh, the
that's a tough one.
Broncos. All right, so tell me, how'd you become you went up on billboards? What happened? Talk
Yeah,
to
so
me.
this was freshman year of college. I was just sitting there, got home from classes one day and saw a tweet from Jamal Murray about the Mountain Dew fan something. And there was a little link, clicked on it, said you had to be a resident of Colorado. I wasn't. I applied for it anyway. And I said I'd cross that bridge if I won somehow.
Yeah.
Sent in a picture. You had to send in a picture of you being a fan, so just got all my jerseys hanging on my sleeves. And sent in the picture, and then I'm sitting in class about a month later, get a call from Wisconsin or somewhere, and they said, hey, you've been selected to be the fan. And I said, yeah, no problem. I'm just a student in Utah right now. We need an address from you. I said, well, can I send you an address a little bit later? I'm a student in class, and somehow worked it out. They were cool and got to go out there, do a little shoot with Murray and Jokic and play some games, and ended up on a billboard with them.
Dude, how cool is that?
It was awesome.
How great was Jokic, man?
He's great. He's just, loves kids. We did a little dinner thing there, and there's a bunch of kids. He's just running around, playing with the kids. He's really cool.
Dude, that's pretty sweet, Ron.
Yeah.
That's money.
Yeah. Well, also, Chad, is they had a shot thing.
Yeah.
Like from half court, who could be the first one to make it?
Were you the first?
I was. There was a game of lightning with the 50 people there, and competition wasn't phenomenal in the game of lightning. But the winner got to shoot with Jokic and Murray, and if I made it first, I got to win a VIP ticket thing. And I think Murray and Jokic were taking it easy. They missed about 10 or so shots, and
Until
then
you
finally
made it,
I got one in.
Oh, dude, that's cool.
Yeah, it was great. And then COVID hit, never got the VIP tickets, but maybe we'll hit them back one day.
That's so cool. So, Tom, tell me, just who all's in the house here? Tell me the family that's in the house. Who we got?
Well, we had 8 that went to the game with us in one vehicle. And because Ron and I were coming back here, they all said, well, yeah, we'll just come back with you. So I have my wife, Colleen, Ron's wife, Heather, 2 of my kids, Sarah, who's back from her freshman year visiting from college.
Awesome.
My daughter, Abby, who's in high school, and my son, Luke, who's in middle school. Is that all of them? 3 kids, my 3 kids. Did I say 2 kids? Well, one of them's maybe not my favorite some of the time, but we won't talk about that on the air. Depends on the day. I'm just excited to be here.
That's great. That's great. You got anything else you want to add in on this family adventure tonight, Burkhart?
Yeah, never do this again. I just had to sit back here. I didn't get to talk. I had to answer 21 questions every 3 minutes. Is unreal.
You know, it's funny. If we measured words tonight, I bet you Ron in Salt Lake would have, he outdid me tonight.
Yeah, he did. They're going to take over. The YouTube chat wants them to take over.
Yeah.
They had more Gibb family fan club members called than Blazer fans. Is unreal. I've never
Rip
seen
City
anything
Drive
like
with
it.
Ron and Tom. It's got a good ring to it, too.
If they get a radio show before I do, that's unreal. I'm quitting, too.
Burkhart,
right.
I love that you bring up 21 questions in 3 minutes. You're sitting back there. Our mom's back in the production room. She's fantastic. We always joke with her. She'll interrupt her own question to ask another question. She asks about 3 in the same sentence. So 3 questions and 21 questions in 3 minutes sounds about right.
That's
well,
right.
Now
Getting
you're
peppered.
in trouble. I'm not, because I turned around and said I'm kidding.
She's
I'm just
great.
I'm trying to make the YouTube chat laugh. I'm trying to make the radio listeners think that I'm cooler than I really am. But you're putting yourself in the doghouse.
Hey, she'll admit it, but she knows that she's the best.
Well, I got to tell you what a thrill this was, man. Guys, the entire family, thanks for coming out.
Thank you. Awesome.
Chad, you're the man.
Dude, you're the man. You guys are both awesome. I'm just so glad I ran into you, random encounter, you and your family out of Fred Meyer.
Yeah, stuff like that happens, and it works out great. It was fun to run
How
into
can you miss that Blazer shirt he's got on right there, too?
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. Chad, we got one favor to ask of you.
What do you got?
This summer,
you allow us to come back and bring you the fresh peach pie.
Yeah.
And then the next day, we're going to go out and play golf.
Okay. And I'm in on that. Yeah, I'm in. Yes. Thank you.
Deal.
All right. All right, that's going to do it for us. Burkhart, sorry to have them steal your show tonight, buddy.
No, I'm just joking. I want to make sure my 21 questions comment was in jest. They have been wonderful back here. It's been a fun night on the 5th quarter. And I told them they picked a great night to show up because after that game, the 5th quarter could have been a stinker. But we had some fun.
Yeah, it was good. Actually, you're right. It is a perfect night for you to come in because no one wanted to talk about this game anyways. Horrible. All right. We got another game coming up on the homestand. It'll be on Monday. Don't forget to join us. You can jump on board We'll have the Rip City Drive from 3 until 4:30. Game day at 4:30. Tip-off against the Hawks. We'll be at 7 o'clock. And, of course, Chris and I will be back after the game on fifth quarter. Your final score tonight from Moda Center. The Toronto Raptors over your Portland Trailblazers. 123 to 105 for Chris Burkhart and the entire Give family. I'm Chad Doing. Have a good night, my friends.
Oh, Chad.